Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, starting on this 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin, because right now potentially we are breaking through this 0.5 Fibonacci level, sitting at about 59.5k. Now, in the case that you see Bitcoin breaking back down below this 0.5 level, then potentially this could indicate more bearish momentum coming in the short term, and you could look towards this 0.382 level, sitting at about 57,000 US dollars for the Bitcoin price. Even though technically we closed this candle above, we haven't really confirmed a breakout yet because this 4-hour candle has not closed yet. So it can still just close this candle below, and then this would just look like a break below, a retest, and then a rejection further to the downside. So make sure to pay attention to this and watch out in the case that you do see this happen. Now, besides that, taking a look at the bigger support and resistance levels for Bitcoin, right now Bitcoin is about to reach into this next big level of resistance, sitting from 60,000 all the way up to 62.4k. And in the case that you see some kind of rejection back to the downside, then the next big level of support is right here between 58,000 and 56,000 US dollars for the Bitcoin price. So this could potentially be a level where you see the Bitcoin price bounce from, just like what you saw over here and what you saw over here as well. Now, if we take a look at the 1-day time frame for Bitcoin, we basically went all the way to the bottom of the range, then got a bounce back to the upside, and now the Bitcoin price has just been trading sideways in the exact middle of this range here. So what is actually going on, and what should we be paying attention to get a better idea of what is going to happen next in terms of the momentum in the market? Well, there are a couple of things you could look out for. For example, you have this level at 58.3k, roughly speaking, where if the Bitcoin price trades below that level, then we are undercutting these previous lows on the 1-day time frame. And potentially this could be an indication that we are going lower after that. And in terms of momentum to the upside, if you see Bitcoin breaking above this 62.5k level, roughly speaking, then we are also breaking this Fibonacci golden pocket right here. So I do think that at that point, it is likely we are going further to the upside. So this is basically the range that I am watching for now in terms of the momentum. And you can also see this sideways momentum in the RSI momentum indicator here. So again, maybe you could look at something like this. So this range is also something you could be watching where if we break this to the upside on the daily time frame, then potentially this can indicate that for the next couple of days or potentially weeks, you're going to see more bullish momentum. And if we break this to the downside, then potentially we could be seeing more bearish momentum for the next days or weeks. So this is another thing you could be paying attention to in terms of an indicator in the charts here. Now, besides that, taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, first of all, on this 3-day time frame, right now, Bitcoin is eating up all of this liquidity to the upside, sitting as high as about 60,000 US dollars. Now, of course, it doesn't have to grab all of this, although it is very close to the current price. So it would not be strange to see Bitcoin at least touching the 60k level at some point. However, if you just forget about this pocket of liquidity here, you can see that there's actually liquidity to the downside and to the upside. So again, even on this 3-day time frame here, you can see some indecision in the market. And this is because we have been trading sideways, which is also a reflection of this indecision, basically because of all the macro news that has been coming out. And I think the market is just processing all of this information. But I do think that once the momentum becomes more clear, it is going to be a pretty fast move either to the upside or to the downside. So that is something that I'm looking out for as well. Now, in terms of this liquidity here, you have some liquidity again at about 62k. And one thing you may notice is that these two levels here line up pretty nicely with this range. So again, if you see a breakout below or a breakout above, this could indicate more momentum in that direction over the next couple of days or potentially weeks. Although, of course, if it just grabs this liquidity and then gets a rejection back down from these levels. So for example, you see something like this, you grab the liquidity and then come back down, then you could be looking lower here and actually think like, hey, maybe it is going to grab this liquidity to the downside first, right? So that is how you use those channels. Lastly, taking a look at the Bitcoin ETF flow tables for today. Yesterday, we saw a net outflow of about $80 million. So we are seeing the Bitcoin ETF investors still flip-flopping And of course, this outflow is based on the CPI data that we saw in the market yesterday, as well as this huge sell-off in the market, right? So that is just something to consider as well, that we aren't seeing like a consistent trend of outflows just yet. We are basically just seeing some inflows and some outflows because, again, the market is kind of undecided on what the momentum should be. There's roughly a similar amount of Bitcoin being bought as Bitcoin being sold, and that's why the market is trading sideways. So for now, we must continue to wait and check back in with this every single day until there is a clear sign of what the momentum is going to be. And again, I do think that once the momentum is decided, that the move either to the upside or to the downside is going to be quite volatile. Either way, this has been today's market update. Thank you very much for watching once again. Don't forget to subscribe with notifications on so you get notified whenever I upload a new video. And also, I'm really trying to reach 5,000 subscribers. So if you can help me with that by subscribing, I would really appreciate it. Regardless, thank you for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.